Hi everybody, and welcome to the Junk Room where we create whatever. Today I have to apologize because I don't have a crafting video to put up. I don't have any junk journaling projects to put up. Not that I haven't been creating, I have, but things are not coming together, and I've had a rough few days, and I just have not been able to put everything together to make a beautiful video. And I need to apologize for that because I do want to be a consistent content creator, and that has been once a week on Sundays. I'd like to do more, but time just, it has this way of zipping past these days. So instead of a craft video, I'm going to share a month in review, which would be the month of March, in my ministry. I'm a local youth missionary here in St. Thomas, Ontario, with Youth for Christ. And at the end of the month, beginning of the month, I do a video to review, and I post it in my group, Facebook group, for my supporters and donors and those that just want to know what's happening with the youth in our community. And I've done that, and so I'm going to post that video for you. And if you're not interested in youth ministry, don't worry about it. It's okay. You can stop the video and not watch that part of it. It's just been a rough few days, and I needed to put something up that, had a little bit of content. And at Create Whatever, I have three streams, I guess you would say, that are right along with ministry that I'm doing at Youth for Christ with the youth. And of course, that's junk journaling. I have 2 evening junk journal programs, one for elementary and one for high school. I'm also in the schools with junk journal program that I created, a 6-week program that I take to the schools. And right now I'm in 2 of them, with the hopes to get into 2 more soon, where I just bring junk journaling. There's so many benefits to junk journaling, and I want to share it. And there's so many life lessons as well. So there's definitely the junk journal side of it. That's the main side. But also during the season, we do a garden ministry at work that I oversee in the process of creating. And so I'll be bringing some of that to my channel, as well as cooking, which is really funny because I hate to cook, but I do have some videos that are good for a chuckle. And hopefully once we get a harvest happening with the gardens, I'll be cooking in the kitchen with the youth. So all of it's related to what I'm doing at Youth for Christ. Some of the things that I love to do, and then some of the things that are stretching me and getting me out of my comfort zone, like cooking. And I really have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to gardening either, if the truth be told. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will be back with more of the junk journaling content in the next few days. But have a great week, and thank you so much for dropping in for however long you stayed. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Hi, everybody. It's Sherry. In case you needed a reminder of my name, I'm sitting here in my favorite booth at YFC, and I've discovered that the youth love this booth too, and I get to hang out with them right here on Tuesday nights when I'm out at Campus Life. I feel like I just did a month in review not too long ago. And here I am again in a brand new month, looking back at March, and it was busy. Today is kind of dreary out there. We're under some weather watches, and I just thought this would be a nice afternoon to just come in and chit chat and share some ministry updates and look to see what what happened last month and maybe even what's coming up this month. Let me begin by last night. Now, I know last night was in April, but I have to say what an honor and privilege it was to speak to our youth for the first time. I haven't volunteered to do that. I just have been in the backgrounds, just waiting for the Lord to give me the go-ahead to share my story. And it was a real struggle for me to figure out what part of my story to share with the youth. What is relevant in my story that would speak to them today? And I must say, it didn't come together until they were started walking in the door. And I just stopped and said, Lord, I'm all over the place with this. I don't know who's going to be here tonight. I don't know who's going to be listening. But I want you to take whatever I say and touch hearts and move in a way that only God can do through the Holy Spirit. And it started off rocky, I must say. We had to deal with some behaviors, and I didn't hit my stride off the bat. And it really was my first time in talking in front of a group of teenagers. And not in a million years would I ever have dreamed of doing that. But here I am in my third year, actually, of being here at Youth for Christ. And I am still so excited. And it hit me again yesterday when I was dropping off consent forms for the school that I get to do this. I get to be in full-time ministry. I get to walk beside youth and love on them and share with them and journey with them and tell them how much they're loved by God. Not just me, but by God. And so last night was I think a pivotal moment in my life. And God just, he does what only God can do. He takes our fumbling, our stories, our words, and he uses them. And when I got out of my way and the group settled down, he showed up. And I left them with three things, because my story, I don't want it ever to be about me. And I left them with three things. My life is like a book, and that's where I started from. Junk journaler here, like it's all about the books. And so I came from that perspective. But three things I wanted them to know at the end of some of my story was, one, that they are not a mistake. God doesn't make mistakes. And they are not a mistake. And in Genesis chapter 1, when God starts to create everything, and he creates man and woman in his own image, that wasn't a mistake. He looked at everything he created those 6 days, and he said it was very, very good. And so I wanted them to know that they are not a mistake. We make mistakes, for sure. But God did not make a mistake when he created us. Second of all, I wanted them to know how much God really, really loves them. Not the way we as humans love them, not even more than parents, even better than parents. And I wanted them to know that they were so loved, that God sent his son Jesus to die for us. Who does that? And that's how much he loves us, that he died for us, to make a way for us to be in a relationship with him, to do life with him. And he didn't stay dead. And that's the whole Easter story coming up. And I wanted them to know that. And then finally, I wanted them to know that God sees them. He hears them, and they are not alone. God talks about writing our name on the palm of his hand. Isn't that amazing? He writes our name on the palm of his hand. We're his children if we accept that, if we choose that, if we believe that. And then another part of scripture that I've come to really love and cherish as I share with the youth how precious they are. In Psalms, he talks about how our sorrows, he hears and sees them, so much so that our tears, he keeps them in a bottle, and they're written in his book. Can you believe that? That God sees our tears, even when we don't shed them because, we want to be tough. But he sees the heartbreak in our hearts, and he tracks it. He keeps track of that stuff. He doesn't keep track of our sin. No, he keeps track of our sorrow, of our burden, of our tears, and he collects them. Now, I'm sure we all have collections, buttons, pins, cards, trading cards, teapots, junk. We all collect things. Our lives are full of these collections, and God has a collection of our tears. He sees it, he hears it, and we're not alone. We cannot fathom how great and deep and wide is his love for us, and that he says he will never leave us nor forsake us, no matter what we're going through. And some of our youth are going through awful, awful things, and it's confusing for them, and they hear us talking about God's love and how can God love us when this is happening in my life. And I just wanted to reassure them that they're not a mistake. God loves them so much, and so do we, and that he sees, he hears, and they're not alone. That was last night in a nutshell, and I was just so grateful that I could share some of my story, my mistakes, and how God has turned that around, and here I am today. So that could be a video all on itself, and I could stop right there. But I have to highlight some of the things in March. So March, oh my goodness, I had the amazing privilege and experience to be a guest workshop person at the Women's Day that was at the beginning of the month that the YWCA put on. I got to take junk journaling to the women that came to that. There was between 120 and 140 women that were there, and they each received a swag bag, and I was able to give them each a crochet dishcloth because I had women that had done them up for our banquet, but I didn't use them for our banquet. The theme went in a different direction than I thought, but I had all these dishcloths, and it was just enough to put in these swag bags. And so they got a dishcloth, handmade dishcloth with my business card, so they knew that it was coming from Youth for Christ, and then my creative business card that is all about create whatever, and the junk journaling. And so it was wonderful. I did the morning and afternoon workshop, and out of that, things are happening and in the works. Not going to say too much about that today, but things are happening, and I'm excited about that, where God has taken this junk journaling. Only God could take a junk and the idea of turning junk into something beautiful and just blow it up, and all these things that he's doing. So exciting. I finished the 2 programs at the school with junk journaling, which was amazing. I made the invitation to the students that participate to come out to our junk journaling programs Monday night, not thinking that anything was going to come of that this first year. It takes time to build a program, but students are starting to see me and know that I do this. And so I put the invitation out there, and exciting news. One student from the program came out Monday night start junk journaling with us here at our YFC location. And she got to hear about how God sees us as beautiful. And it's, so excited about that. That's why I'm doing this. And I'm so passionate about how junk journaling can parallel with our lives and the messages that can be brought out of that junk journaling. So excited about that. I met with a small group of ladies. I'm doing the book club. It's almost done. The book Seeking God, highly recommend it. It's been a wonderful read, and just being in a small group discussing that. So that's happened. Of course, the Monday night and the Thursday night junk journaling is a highlight of my week, mixed in there with the March break. And oh my goodness, the March break was wonderful. I got to take junk journaling to 2 of our satellites under the umbrella of our chapter, Southwestern Ontario, SWO. And so I got to, on the Tuesday of the March break, I got to go to Norwich with Jacqueline. She's there. Amazing ministry going on there, and it was a pretty full house of young ladies, and I got to share my story there in a group setting and just introduce them to junk journaling. And it was exciting. It was well received, and I've been invited to come back, so I'm really excited about that as I fine-tune the junk journaling program. And what it looks like so that it can travel around is just incredible. And then on the Thursday, I went to Delhi with Anna and her girls and got to do it again. And they wanted me to come back too. So I'm just so excited about those other opportunities that God is opening up through junk journaling. God has brought women across my path that are interested in volunteering in the junk journaling program. So God has just been orchestrating this, getting things in place for what I feel is an explosion. I've might have said it before that it feels like it's a pot of water that's been put on the burner, and we're waiting for it to heat up, and we wait and we check on it, we check on it, and then little bubbles start at the bottom. And that's where I feel things are at, it's bubbles. It's just little bubbles, and it's about to boil over, which is so exciting. I need volunteer support to do everything that I want to do. And so there is things in place that can support growth on a grand scale. I'm not sure how grand this is going to be, but I'm just trusting it, leaving it in God's hands. He's got this. Meeting with people to talk about it and to see where they might fit and serve. And it's very, very exciting. I'm excited about that. Also, we had a tragedy hit our county with the death of a student. And when there's a death of a student by a tragic accident, or any death of a student, a young person, it has a ripple effect, starting with the family, of course, and then friends and acquaintances, but it keeps going. And this death impacted some of our volunteers and youth. And I feel that it's my responsibility to not just journey with students during the good times, but to get into the messiness and into their pain. It's not a comfortable place to be in that pain. And more God is bringing me into it. And I'm moved to tears more and more. I needed to make sure they were okay. And one of the students, it was actually a mom that called and said she's really struggling And I prayed, Lord, how do I help this struggling student about this acquaintance that she knew, she'd seen, she, in the same circles from a distance. How do I help her with that? How do I help a volunteer that knew this young person, but she had just recently lost both her grandparents a few days apart, and the grief is compounded? How do you do that? Well, I really believe that you need to take time and put your agenda aside and just be there with them. And sometimes there's words and sometimes there's not. And another student who was really struggling with inside of herself and not feeling she was adequate enough or strong enough, and really struggling with the inside voices, and holding them, physically holding them as they sobbed and as they cried. I cried out to God and said, you need to show up. You need to show up for these young people. You need to be a real God to these young people. And then getting to pray for them, to pray over them. Wow. Waza is the new catchphrase. Wow isn't good enough. It's waza. That doesn't leave me. I take that with me. And they may never see the tears after we've left each other, and I continue to pray for them. But I want these young people to know that I value them and their story, and that I'm a person that's going to show up when it gets hard and messy. I also was able to meet with someone to build some bridges, to mend some fences. That was beautiful. See, God designs these divine appointments and times where if we just show up, He does amazing things. And I get to be a part of that. And wow, was. And so that's March in review. And oh yeah, I did a workshop on setting worthy goals, because I don't have time for shallow goals with no meat and potatoes. I don't have time for that. Time is so fleeting. That was a good workshop as I start to think about doing my MAP, which is my ministry action plan. It's due at the end of August, where we have to do our personal goals, our ministry goals, and really look at that, look at last year's. I now kind of see last year's as a more shallow, and so now it's time to take it up or down, deep down a notch as I begin to think of what's next. I'm excited about the garden ministry. It is going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. So here's faith. It's going to be doing lessons every Saturday morning. I'm not a morning person, but I'm going to be doing lessons about about how to grow your garden, how Christian life is like a garden. You know, what we plant and cultivate, we reap. And we don't even have to worry about weeds. They're just going to show up. And we do have weeds in our life. But we also have a lot of good stuff that happens when we're Christians, when we believe that Jesus is God's son who died, rose again, and made a way for us to be in relationship with God, which was what he had planned from the very beginning of time. He wants to be in relationship with us. And what an amazing, amazing journey that is. And I think our young people need to know about that and know how. Like, I'm in the how stage, not why. Forget about the why questions. I want to know how to do it. I'm beginning to start to flesh that out. And so I'm going to be looking I need volunteers. I cannot be in the backyard with young people by myself. I need volunteers. I'm hoping for an army of volunteers. So you only have to do one through the whole garden seasoning. So that's a prayer request for volunteers. And even more importantly, volunteers that know a little bit about gardening, because I don't. Oh, God has a sense of humor for sure. But that can volunteer 2 hours a Saturday morning and just sit with me while I try to unravel this for students in practical ways, verbally, but also getting our hands dirty, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, but also physically, and doing the hard work in the gardens and planting and watching and waiting and weeding and weeding and watering and, oh my goodness, weeding some more, right? And then being there at the end when they see that if they tend to the physical garden, the spiritual garden will make more sense when you tend to it and you're purposeful in it in what you do. It's a beautiful harvest. And then at the end of this, I'm going to be cooking in the kitchen. Oh, Lord's going to have to help me with that. Cooking in the kitchen with youth. Oh, I'm planting a lot of stuff in the garden, so I have a lot to work with. Because tomatoes and peppers, you can do some stuff with that, don't get me wrong, but I need a little bit more stuff I can work with. And I hope there's going to be volunteers that enjoy the cooking piece that can come alongside me. So be praying for that. I'm a visionary. I dream big. God gives me big dreams. And I'm a fire starter. I'm a firecracker. It's taken me a long time to live into that because that was God given instead of squashing it like I've been doing and so many people have tried to do. I'm a firecracker for Jesus. But I need people to come alongside me to catch on, to catch it. And I think I'm pretty good at doing that. But what I'm not good at is longevity. I get bored easily. The dreams, they keep coming. Not all of them are from God. I know that. I weed that out. And that comes with wisdom and years of experiencing life with God. I have the big vision for this garden ministry. But I don't even know if I have any youth that are going to show up. But it doesn't matter because this has come from God. And I know that. I know because I know. And if there's only one student that shows up, I'll be in the backyard Saturday mornings. Because I'm here for the one. That's my mission. One. And if God sees fit to use me for one more, and one more, and one more, I'm going to keep showing up. Because this local youth missionary and full-time ministry is here for the long haul. Because it matters. These youth matter, even the ones that frustrate us and challenge us. And so that's March in review. Thank you if you've stuck it out this long. Wow. Thank you so much. My YouTube channel, Create Whatever. My Facebook page, Create Whatever. My Instagram account, Create Whatever Joyfully. I want to be a huge presence on social media for Jesus. I haven't got that all figured out. I'm still floundering with how to do the faith piece with the junk journaling and make it an extension of what I'm doing here at Youth for Christ. I haven't got it all figured out. I've been on YouTube for a year. It's hard. Holy cow. It's hard and it's a lot of work. But I believe because we are so connected and the youth are on social media, that we have to be on social media too, because the world is influencing them in very unhealthy ways. And so I struggle with it because I don't learn it quickly, but I'm going to struggle with it, and God's going to use it because I've given it back to Him. And I keep, you're not supposed to look at numbers on your YouTube channel, but I keep looking, and for a year it hasn't moved, and it got a little discouraging until God reminded me why I'm here. And that is for the one. So if only one person tunes into social media, then I need to let that person know in some way that I care. That's a work in progress, but so am I. So thankful He hasn't given up on me yet. And I just thank you for giving me your time. Time is precious. We're all busy. So thank you for that. Thank you. If you are praying for me, that's one way to support me. That's a very big way to support me. Thank you. I need your prayers to sustain me, to strengthen me. My physical body battles some health issues on a daily basis, but I give God the glory that He keeps me moving. And I refuse to be sidelined. And so I just keep getting up every day, thanking God that He's going to give me the strength I need for today. One day. And so thank you for your prayers. Be praying for us here at Elgin County YFC, my co-workers for YFC across this country and the world. Be praying. Oh, how we need prayer. Thank you. If you are a monthly donor, supporter, I have to raise my own funds. I don't worry about that. God has done a great thing there, but I do need more monthly supporters as I lose supporters for different reasons. So if you're supporting me monthly, thank you so much. And I pray for you. I pray for my donors that He will bless you abundantly in your finances. If you're giving periodically, thank you for those gifts. They matter too. All donations matter. So thank you for that. If you're giving practical ways like the junk journal program. And I get your junk. Thank you for that. I'm trying to get on top of the messy junk room. I won't say no to junk. I will sift through it though, and what we can't use, I will donate to others. And so thank you for that. One of the things that we go through a lot of, which is my biggest expense right now, is glue. We use a lot of glue when we're paper crafting. And oh my goodness, I forgot how much kids love stickers. So a great need for the Junk Journal program right now is stickers and washi tape. I've got 2 programs in the schools. I got 2 programs here at the youth center. I've taken it on the road and I've depleted a lot of my stickers. So if you have stickers and you don't need them anymore, you don't want them anymore, your kids have outgrown them, or you're not into scrapbooking anymore, please think of me and my program for stickers. I try to post needs of my program, and I will be doing that on our YFC Allen County Facebook page. We don't have because we don't ask, and so that's a great need right now for junk journaling. So thank you. If you're saving, your envelopes and your stamps and your tea bags and your coffee sleeves, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you're giving of your time, I have a wonderful community member that helps in the gardens because she loves doing it, and I wouldn't be able to do it at all without her. And so thank you for the practical ways that you support. I just thank you. Sometimes it gets a little lonely in full-time ministry. It's hard work. It really isn't a 9-to-5 job or a 40-hour week. I've never worked 40 hours a week in my lifetime, and now I am. So it takes a toll. And so I appreciate you. Whoever you are, God sees you. He hears you. And you do not walk alone. Blessings today, blessings tomorrow, and I'll be back for another month's review sooner than later, I suspect. Take care, everybody.